elusive Steven was in town last night and stayed just long enough for me to force him to put this rad support together. So we're going to store this over here. Of course, it's not actually assembled, it's just loosely kind of thrown together in the order that it is. That's a nice sound. So, I don't know, is that less in the way? Maybe, maybe not. We got some exciting times coming up. Got more Datsun action than anybody could ever want, except me. And Ashley, possibly Ashley. The red 411, the rusty one that he drives around, is coming in, and we're going to do welding, body prep, paint, color change, and it's going to be awesome. I like the way Ashley does stuff. I just do. I just like it. It all looks so good. It looks like a professional, you know. One day. I'm gonna rudely rough out. Well, you can't even see them. These are not big dents, you guys. There. There's a dent. I'm not getting crazy here, right? Like, just get them close. Okay, I am pretty excited and a little nervous to try to put this trunk lid back together. The only thing, funny enough, that we had any trouble with here was finding a replacement for the kind of, it's like a thick textured kind of tar paper sound deadener stuff. Of course, you can't buy it because why would you stock something that you had to cut the whole trunk lid apart to replace it? So I looked around in various hardware stores and they sell similar, it's like a really, it's just a shitty coarse fiber paper that's kind of loosely glued together with tar. Maybe it's out there. Anyway, in the spirit of the way we do things, which is I'm not leaving the yard if I don't have to, I looked around and I found some actually pretty decent and about the right thickness and about the right density underlay. It's like a hardwood floor underlay. It's the wrong color, but I'll just paint it black when I'm done. And we're going to substitute that, and it is way better quality material as far as I can tell. Plop it in there, and then we're going to paint all this blue, and then I'll just go in and I'll just paint the insulation or the whatever this sound deadener shit is. I'll just paint it black when I'm done. Let's just concentrate on trying to salvage this otherwise terrible car and start by reassembling. And if we get this back together, we can do a little body work and have some fun, do some fun stuff. But right now, I want to just move past this reassembly process here. So we've got our lid laid out here. This is a very flimsy, nerve-wracking kind of thing. Okay, that's about the best I'm going to be able to do. Spent an hour or so popping the majority of the dents out of the top of this, just because it'll be a little harder once all this goes in. We got the cork laid out on the inside of the deck lid, and I can see that we are not going to have a problem. I don't think. I'm confident enough, barely, that I'm going to glue this here. I think that's pretty much where it touches. Yeah, well, let's see what happens. This thing is heavy and flimsy and bulky. Okay. Okay. Well, that's looking not too terrible, I guess. It's going to be fun getting this all in here, for sure. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna need to start getting some clamps on that because turns out it's a tight fit. Okay, is that in? Is that in? So the idea, trying to get this back where it was. Seems it would be fairly simple. Seems like it would be pretty self-explanatory, but not quite. Well, we got 3 corners. This one will not go. We're going to have to get a little more serious. Pulling on that. Now, getting closer. Almost close. Just absolutely. Okay, so I guess the question is that fairly tight? Actually seems pretty reasonable. I suppose if it's sloppy, I can wedge some underneath it. And does it fit? Kind of. So my first impression after splicing it is actually pretty good. Here's the skin. Now this is getting cut off, but we need it here for a reference. And not too bothered by it, I don't think. All of the attachment holes seem to be very close to on center. That's good. And we can also find where the welds were before and try to line those up. So at this point, my goal is to just try to line everything up the best we can. And I'll probably start by loosely hammering and folding the edges back over. I'm not gonna fold the old damaged piece back over because we're going to be cutting that off and making a new one, but it's good to see all the holes lining up. So I want to get enough of it folded over that we can flip it over and have a quick look before we completely commit to it, because once that's folded back over, it's never coming off ever again. This material here seems pretty reasonable. The Impala Club wants to deduct me 100 points for that, they can. So let's just see if we can start folding it a bit. Got pretty close. I'm gonna grab a dolly and hammer, and we'll just very loosely go down that side and get the idea how it's roughly gonna go. So there are several aspects of this that make me nervous. Any part of this could end very badly, so let's pinch that in there, and then I'm gonna grab here. The good news is it seems like it's folding back on and not putting a second edge on it. Of course, when I unfolded this, it doesn't just straighten up. It kind of, because the original fold is hardened to that part of the steel, when you unfold it, it's actually curling on the outside face. So that's a problem. So rather than beat on it too much, I thought, well, with any luck, when we fold it back over, it'll uncurl that top face, and it seems to be doing that for the most part. So that's why I wanted to try a little spot. And if we can get it close, you know, it'll all block out and whatever. So that's fine. But there you can see, there's the first bit folded back over. And I'm gonna just do a half a dozen spots. The idea is that the inner panel can still be shifted around a 1/16 of an inch in any direction, should it be helpful. But of course, if we get it back on there, then you can of course just shift it around on the hinges more or less anywhere you want. But I do want to get it back as close as I can to where it was within reason. And of course down here, well, that's all going to be different anyway. And once we get this back on, we'll do a little body work where the weld was, and probably slam it back on the car and check it for fit. And once I get this folded on, I'm going to cut this back piece off and make a new one. And that'll be something like this. We'll make that new, and then we'll fold it on as well. I put a little JV weld in some of the deeper pits here. You know, I'm not replacing, again, if we were building a perfect car, I wouldn't use this trunk lid anyway, but I'm not, I don't care. It'll be a very nice car, and it'll be done in my lifetime. I've got a couple of spots tacked on and it seems to be holding together, so we're just gonna work our way down here. So that's close. How's it feel? Feels a little low in here, but we may have to be doing some adjustments when we're done. There. Anyway, that's the idea. I think I'll just go ahead and do 3 sides in these corners and leave the middle. And then we're going to jig it up on something level, make sure that all 4 corners touch the ground at the same time before we put any welds in, because if we weld it with it twisted, it'll stay twisted. So I've got the edges folded back over roughly. I'm not getting too cute with the tuning it up and everything yet. I just wanted to get it roughly made back into a single unit. We've got a little bit of a problem in that bits of it are, you can see, fatigued and cracking when I'm folding them back over. You know, that's not great, it's not ideal, but it's not the worst thing in the world. We'll be able to work around it. 80–90% of it is fine. So what I think we're going to do now is I'm going to flip it over and start making the outside skin at the back there. Now that everything is stable and clamped on, we'll see how it feels when we flip it over. Then I can start on that piece on the back, and we're just going to make that from scratch and hope that we can put something useful together there. What a doofus. Yeah. Come on, bring it here. Good girl. Is a regular
Same
contributor.
old shit.